Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. This quote could have come straight out of a self-help book today, but it was actually said by the philosopher Aristotle over 2,000 years ago. Another human being alive in another time. But how alike are we to our human ancestors? When we think of our evolution, we picture the gradual straightening of our posture from monkey to human. And that's normally where we stop. But Guanning Lin, an associate professor from Shanghai Jiao Tong University, went a step further.
In the past tens of thousands of years, human society actually have gone a tremendous revolutions, including culture, technology, and medicine. So they are actually constantly shaping how we think, how we believe, and how we interact with each other. So we cannot just focus on how we evolved to become human. We actually had to know that what happened after.
This is especially the case for more complex traits, such as why we behave in certain ways or are susceptible to specific diseases. By comparing our DNA code to humans who lived thousands of years ago, we can investigate our more recent evolution. And even in the past 2,000 to 3,000 years, Guanning found we are definitely not at the end of the line.
We study 875 different traits, and in our study, almost more than 80% of complex traits are still influenced in some way by the nature selection. That's a lot, actually.
You looked at the genetics of people who lived 2,000 to 3,000 years ago. So how much have our genes changed since then?
I would say not that much, only tiny changes, but these tiny changes still make some big difference.
This includes changes we can see.
We, along with others, have found that many mutations that could increase the human height, right, have become a little bit more frequent in our modern society than 3,000 years ago.
If I saw a human from 2,000 years ago walking down the street dressed like me, would I notice them? Would they look different to me?
I would expect these people from 2,000 years ago walking on the street to be a bit shorter, be thinner than us, more likely to eat raw vegetables.
So, unless walking around eating a carrot, Aristotle probably had the chance of fitting into the crowd. But our more ancient ancestors, who lived 10,000 years ago during the Neolithic period, wouldn't have been able to blend in so much.
That would make a lot different, recognizable facial features. A wider mouth and smaller head. And then the space between the eyes a little bit wider.
So I definitely noticed them, even if they were dressed in jeans and a t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
They definitely look
Yes.
different to me.
Yeah, you might be seeing, oh, this is some kind of actor or something. Yeah.
These genetic changes in human go beyond what we look like. Disorders which we live with today could have served as an advantage to our ancestors. This includes conditions like anxiety and, in more recent history, inflammatory bowel disease or IBD.
IBD means that your intestinal immune system is actually highly active and it's attacking itself. So poor hygiene condition, this disease might actually protect our ancestors against infections.
Why do you think it's important that we study how our DNA has changed from ancient times to now? Can that tell us anything that's important for us alive today?
Yeah, I think it's important to study the ancient DNA and compare it to the current DNA so that we know that the nature is still with us and it doesn't matter how much we can have our control, how we live and how we survive, they're still shaping our evolution. So environment is coexisting with our man-made environment right now.
The end of our evolution appears to be never-ending, with nature still influencing our genetic code. And by looking back, we can learn more about some of the characteristics we have today. As evolution is a very slow process and requires isolation, a new species of human is unlikely to emerge. And we would probably still recognise our ancestors a few thousand years down the line. But we may need to look ever so slightly up.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit taller than before. Yeah,
Little bit
definitely
taller.
That's a definite. Yeah.